Right side. They're walking in on this side. They're cutting through.
Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Gentlemen, please remove your hats. I
Will
pledge
everyone
allegiance
please
to the
stand for the
flag
Pledge
of
of
the United States
Allegiance?
of America and to the republic
Okay.
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Central High School's commencement ceremony for the class of 2021. On behalf of my fellow graduates, I would like to welcome our faculty, staff, parents, and anyone who has supported us in our high school journey. We would also like to welcome our representatives from Central Office, Dr. Larry Reynolds, Harrison Bay Learning Community Superintendent, Dr. Marcia Drake, Chief Equity Officer, and Dr. Steve Highlander. We are honored that all of you are here to witness this momentous occasion for the class of 2021. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of Class of 2021, going into high school, we never would have imagined life being virtual. I knew as a freshman, high school would be pretty rough as far as trying to adapt to high school life, such as tons of schoolwork, larger crowds, and more stereotypical groups. The goal was to get in and get out with everything set out for ourselves accomplished. Many of us look upon teachers to guide us. A teacher's job is to be there for students in times of need, and they did just that. Our teachers helped us maintain an impelled mindset and set us up for success. Allowing teachers to help direct us is what kept us all afloat because let's be honest, who doesn't need a mentor? I believe this has helped us as current seniors to recognize our strengths and weaknesses. I truly can say I appreciate each and every one of their support. Fast forward into junior year, when we thought all was well, until COVID snuck upon us. This made things challenging since this would be the first time we as students had ever done virtual schooling. We struggled a lot, shed lots of tears from constant frustration, stayed up all night completing assignments, and complained with emphasis. But at the end of the day, we persevered through it all. We may not have gotten the chance to participate in the senior activities most seniors get to enjoy, but we definitely made it worthwhile the best way we could have, and that's all that matters. The goal is accomplished, and we couldn't have done it without the support of our peers, family, friends, and most of all, our school faculty. The endless times we tried giving up on ourselves, our teachers wouldn't let us, especially in JRTC. The instructors saw talent in their cadets that they didn't see in themselves. By the time you leave the program, the instructors will not only instill confidence in you, but teach you to be a strong, committed leader as well. Most of all, our academic teachers taught us to be skillful and also have ambition while doing so. This year has definitely been a mystery for us all, but we solved each issue with the assistance of our faculty members involved in our lives. This helped keep us motivated and allowed Class of 21 to look back at something to keep us thriving. Now that each of us has reached the climax of our lives, it is we who determines how the next chapter of our lifetime is going to be.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome you all to Central High's class of 2021 graduation. Thank you, friends and family, for attending and celebrating the completion of our senior year. This year has been quite an experience for everyone, especially us students. What we thought was going to be the most exciting year of high school turned out to be the craziest. Towards the end of our junior year, the pandemic hit, and I don't think anyone expected it to be like this. In August, we started with the trials and tribulations of doing online school, and some of us even tried going back to school in person. It has been quite a ride dealing with failed Zoom calls and last-minute shutdowns. However, our class has continued to push through. We seniors have struggled this year, whether that be trying to figure out how to submit an assignment or trying to complete a college application, and we've all been doing it through a screen. We missed the real experience of learning about specific colleges and how to apply. We didn't get to go on tours of our dream schools like our alumni did in the past. Us seniors didn't get to experience and learn about what we can do after high school. Not all of us plan on attending college after graduation, and we didn't get to explore our other options. We had the normality of our senior year stolen from us, yet here we are today in our cap and gowns finally getting to finish. A year ago today, if you would have told me that my fellow classmates and I would be standing here getting our diplomas, I would not have believed you. However, here we are throughout all the stress, struggles, and confusion of our crazy senior year. We are finally walking the stage and getting the biggest reward that we deserve after this hectic year. As we graduate today, I would like to congratulate every single one of you for pushing through and completing this year. As we all prepare to go out and experience a new chapter in our lives, let's not forget everything we've been through to make it. If we can make it to graduation after a year-long pandemic, then whatever life has in store for us is going to be a piece of cake.
As we come together today to celebrate the ending of our high school adventures, it's hard not to notice the differences in our dreams versus our reality. Just like everyone else on this stage, I believe this year hasn't been what we could have ever expected. Our class has triumphed over the greatest obstacles that could have ever been thrown at us. To say we are resilient, that would be an understatement. And I'm not just talking in regards to COVID. I don't want to talk about the pandemic. We've heard that for the past year. I'm talking about all the things that came before. Our class has experienced a change of principals, not once, but twice. Talk about a culture shock with the transitional period. It was crazy. We've also lost a lot of our teachers along the way. And I think the most prominent one we can all remember is the passing of Megan Sanford. The loss of someone so young in our junior year reminded us that we're never going to have this life thing all figured out. Despite heavy hearts, we persevered and we made it here. Mr. Seals always told us to make history, and we have. We have made history by being one of the few classes that won't be graduating with all of our classmates today. But there will forever be in heart. For us, being resilient was not just pushing through the bad times. It was using the good times to shine light on what seemed to be so bad. This class has lost a lot that we have always wished for as seniors. We cried for normalcy all year, yet we stand here in masks, on a football field, socially distanced, listening to the recordings of what should have been our biggest moments. But that's the thing. I can still say but we have come out stronger than any other class. But we have learned at a younger age to be a lot more self-reliant. But we have more technology than most. Our class has overcome such strong adversity, and we're still here dressed in caps and gowns like those before us. We still made it, but our success holds a greater honor. It has been one heck of a ride on this struggle bus. Our bus has been on fire, in the middle of a desert, being driven by Miss Rona. However, we have reached our final stop. Looking back, I do wish we could have cherished our more normal days of high school before the annoying normal became the awfully horrible. For us, more change means more strength. By this point, we're all graduating as bodybuilders, so let's go flaunt these muscles.
Change can create strength, and strength itself can create even more change. That's definitely good news for our generation, because to put it very lightly, there's been an abundance of change in the past few years. Opinions have evolved, rules have been altered, traditions and authorities have been questioned, information has been challenged and accelerated and sensationalized, lives have been enlightened or tormented or even taken. Even here at Central, many popular teachers and staff have left during our time here. Mr. Joyner, Mrs. White, Mrs. Wilson, Mr. King, Mr. Sanchez, and Mrs. Sanford. And all of this goes without mentioning the change of our generation, the elephant in the room that's 6 feet away from us, wears a mask, and has a nice little Spider-Man Band-Aid on its shoulder. Last spring, many of us were scared about what this new crisis meant for our education and for our lives. Lockdowns were put in place. All of our favorite events were canceled. And supermarkets witnessed a frenzy of customers who were panicking and for some reason only wanted toilet paper. Our school wasn't fully equipped to handle this sudden shift of life, so we were all let out of classes early just to stay at home in our rooms. Several of us lost our jobs, and some even saw their parents lose theirs. Still, it was summer for us, so at least school wasn't an additional worry among everything else. But then, school began again with a hybrid schedule and a phase tracker. People who were excited to do class from their bedrooms weren't prepared for how much fatigue had come in that environment. And the people who came here to Central were greeted with mostly empty classrooms. It was more difficult than we definitely hoped for, especially during a pandemic like this. However, we're here today because we got through it. We've witnessed all of this before we can even fend for ourselves. And while that does create resilience, and it sets our expectations for a cutthroat world ahead of us, it's a resilience that's going to be tested even more as we go on. I don't want to burst our celebration bubble because it's very much appreciated, but soon comes college and trade school and employment and everything else right in the insanity of the current day. And it might even get more crazy in the upcoming years. It's hard to comprehend, but it's probably true. Luckily for us, we've learned some ways to combat the stress that might plague us later on. First, we've learned to not overwhelm ourselves, to take a break when we need to. And summer's coming up right after the ceremony, so we know about that. We've learned to not take anything for granted. Any of these events that we love may be postponed or canceled in an instant. And whether we want to admit it or not, we've learned that keeping in contact with our people is very important, even if it's only at school and at home. Lastly, we've learned to embrace change. This was inevitable for us because, there's never a shortage of change nowadays. We've seen on local and national levels how quickly everything can transform at the sight of sickness or violence or injustice or crisis. These twists and turns aren't obstacles so much as cars ahead of us are an obstacle during our drive. Well, they are on Highway 58 sometimes. I can give you that. What I mean to say is that these shifts are natural. Maybe they're exacerbated by social media, who always loves to tell us about the stuff that we don't want to hear. Either way, we can adapt to them and we can make our situation better, even in some of the more severe cases of these problems that we've seen. Whether that's being socially active or starting our own business or raising our awareness to the arts or elections or the laws or the market, the playing field won't be the same 5 to 10 years later. And I know that we can be ready for that. If all of this is what we could overcome, I wonder if there's anything that we can't.
As principal of Central High School, at this time I would like to ask Dr. Marsha Drake to join me at the podium for the presentation of the class. Would the class of 2021 please stand? By the power invested to me by the Superintendent and the Board of Education and the State of Tennessee, I accept and affirm the students as meeting all the requirements for graduation set forth by the Hamilton County Board of Education and the State of Tennessee. Congratulations.
Thank you. With the powers granted me by the State of Tennessee and the Hamilton County Board of Education, it is my privilege and honor to accept this class. I hereby certify these members as duly authorized graduates of Central High School. Congratulations.
Jonathan Lee Thomas. Oh no. Morgan Grace Kreitz. Brecken Hunter Griffith. William Alexander White. Joshua Hunter Bowles. Mateo Velasquez Vicente. Brandon Allen Higgins. Robert Allen Smith, Jr. Destiny Faith Green. Madison Elizabeth Johnson. Elijah Perry Gordon. Riley Emerson Martin. Deja Sade Hawkins. Bailey Michelle Brantingham. Tia Cassidy Williams. Matthew Connor Braden.
We would like to be called Robbie Allen. Robbie and the rest of it.
Robbie Allen Thomas III. Ethan Allen Black. Caleb John Wilson. Melanie Diane Russo. Demas Azaka III. Tristan Anthony Teague. Melody Ann King. Jacob Christopher Daniels. Danielle Marie Wick Dobbins. Anjanae Amaris Peoples. Joshua Alexander Bell. Megan Victoria Blaze.
Jamez Kavan.
Jamez Kevon Richardson. Maggie Lee Bo Souter.
DeAndre Tyreek Yusuf Roberts.
DeAndre Tyreek Yusuf Roberts.
Diana Lisa. Say it to her loud.
Okay. Diana Lisa Nazalko Akala. Alexis Trinity Archbold. Kaylin Leanne Johnson. Emily Nicole Bradford. Elizabeth Cheyenne McGuire. Vincent Corrales McKenzie Jr. Garnett James Hubbard.
Hey, Golson. Yep. Elv. Yep.
Gulson Elv. Jalen Anthony O'Neill. Anquan Jamal Gurley. Joshua Michael Andrews. Levi Neil Fletcher.
His middle name is Ian.
Okay. Nathan Ian Wellington.
What? Ina.
Caleb James Gienap. Nathan Isaiah Robinson. Ashley Michaela Coleman. Isaac Truck Jackson. Jaden Danielle Williams. Javarius Montez Pratt.
Her middle name is Monet.
Madison Monet Taylor.
Deshawn.
Quidarius Deshawn Bell. Sincere Patrick Hayes. Jalen Cortez Jackson. Solomon Elijah Williams. Logan Matthew Beatty. Jacob Ryan Nation. Nathan Edward Cutchins. Tanner Jacob Salinas.
Cassie Reese.
Cassie Reese Griffith. Colby Pierce Anderson Adams.
Giovanni. Just like it's spelled.
Christopher Giovanni Highwood II.
Milchick.
Eric Lee Milchick Jr.
Emil Guerrero.
Anthony Emil Guerrero.
Last name is Eddie.
Jacob Cameron Eddy. John William Golden.
Wilfred Cazette.
Dylan Wilfred Cazette.
You want to say your name to her?
Karen Lisette Castillo.
You're doing great.
Jeremy Dawson Rogers.
Angel Shante.
Angel Shante Sparks.
Taco night. Just taco.
Courtney Ann Taco.
Same thing.
Corey Lee Taco. Caleb Eugene Wilson.
De Lorenzo.
Isaiah Terry De Lorenzo. Joe Jenkins Jr. Jalen DeMond Walker. Linares Javon Higgins.
This is
Deontay Montrell Preston Jr. Tiana Janae Varner.
Tanisha DeQuay.
Tanisha DeQuay Ware. Megan Elaine James. Zariah Monet Pittman. Emmanuel Montavious Delk. Kai Deontay Woodard. Talon Antonio Damon Harris. Shaylin Jolisa Ann Harris. Richard Jr. Jones II. Ronald Deshawn Dupree. Christopher Leonard Usher Cannon. Kiana Rose Redmond. Kiera Anika Rivers. Sean Michael Hudgens. Michelle Elaine Sims. Mackenzie Monique Boston. Julie Lopez. Christiana Michelle Appling. Saria Lilia Jade Spears. Jacob Emmanuel Leftwich. Benicia Nicole Kelly. Ashley Christine Lackey. Jalen Lamar Teague. Jaden Isaiah Rutledge. Brian Liddell Allen Jr. Sade Lanice Pruitt. Malaya Janae Jeffries. Ryan Christopher Eddy. Did I say his name wrong? Aaron Trenace Bell.
Awesome, you did. Congratulations, Miss Bell.
Tanaya Destiny Crowder. Nia Lachey Townsend. Talia Nashay Smith. Kayana Nicole Craig. Andronique Michelle Moore. Jada Latrice Cox.
Cameron Jalea.
Cameron Jalea Hammonds. Shania Deshay Bird.
Deja Monique Isom.
Deja Monique Isom.
Neandra Rochelle.
Neandra Rochelle Weaver. Carmen Bailey Crabtree. Ashley Danielle Smith. Skylar Brooke Woodward. Deshae Bernay Smith.
This is Langevin.
Alexander Michael Langevin. Morgan Grace Watts.
This is Ariana.
Ariana Mackenzie Taylor. Nikaya Jamaria Valise Jones. Anaya Janice Rakestraw. Shemaya Jaquel Rakestraw. Alexis Elise Kennedy. Jemiah Ebony Parker. Traden Farrell Jackson. Lewis Henley Smith.
Eli Stakely Staggs.
Carson Eli Stakely Staggs. Jarvis Dwayne Petty. Jeremiah Tutt Jr. Blake Harrison Catlett. Jade Alexandra Standridge. Eliana Grace Evett. Natalie Elise Adams. Kinsley Nicole Sims. Kenneth LeBron Shadden III. Christian Allen Montgomery. Rashayla Antonice Sledge. Donovan Lamar Taylor. Araya Deshawn McGee.
Africa Kalia Finizzi.
Africa Kalia Finizzi. Zoe Michelle Green. Grayson Alexander Catlett. Destiny Brianna Smith. Kenyon Deontay McCroby.
Please be seated.
Good afternoon, fellow graduates. As we bring our commencement to a close, I just wanted to take some time to reflect with you all. As you all have already heard, we've been through a lot as a class. With this, we've had to learn how to be okay with adaptation. For instance, when we got to Central, we basically lived the stereotype of going from the top to the bottom of the food chain. We had to do some learning and thinking about how we were going to let this affect us. Through this challenge, we persevered, and we have now made it to our final moments in our high school careers. Sophomore year was very different. Well, actually, for the most part, it was kind of the same. But sophomore year was different because we had a principal, and he left, and it did impact us. But we did go from one good principal to another, and we've been able to thrive. Last year and this year have been real doozies. We had half of our junior year, and then we were thrust into a global pandemic by our country's leadership. Funnily enough, we only thought it would last a week or two, but as it turns out, well over a year later, it would be one of the most influential parts of our lives. The pandemic changed our lives in so many different ways, as all of you may know. It made learning and even teaching harder. It gave us a whole new perspective on the world, and even drove some of us closer to our emotions. We even also watched the injustices that our Black peers have gone through, and we even lost a teacher, we lost a classmate. But even through all of this, we've persevered, we've kept our heads high, and we've made it to our final moments in high school. And honestly, I feel that we do this the best. There's been so much change, and we hadn't really had a chance to do anything but adapt and move forward. But as high school comes to an end, I want to thank all of my classmates for giving me the opportunity to learn and grow with you all. It's really been a roller coaster here at Central High.
If everyone would please stand for the singing of the alma mater. Gentlemen, please remove your hats.
What a wonderful school is ours to love, with its ups and its downs and its joys. What a wonderful banner of purple and gold, as it floats o'er its girls and boys. What a wonderful school that I love so well, with its wonderful realm so high. So you've heard of the school that's true as blue. What a wonderful school, Central High.
Congratulations, class of 2021. You made it. Godspeed, and go out and conquer. Thank you all. Have a good evening. Yeah, I'm happy for him. I've never seen him smile.
Hey, good people.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming. Love the addition.